excited? Everyone's awake? You know, I started my Bible study at Sacred Heart. I tell you, well, some of you know Sacred Heart, and one of you was there, and I tell you, half the people were falling asleep during the entire talk, right?
No way.
Oh my goodness. And you know what? I remember the first day I ever did a Bible study, I took my mother with me. Can you imagine? Okay, you take my mother so that at least there's going to be one person there, you know, because I'm convinced no one's ever going to show up.
How many years ago is that?
This was about 12 years ago, right? And it was hilarious because my mother and I were there for the first half hour alone. And then this one couple came in just at the very end, and they were so wonderful. They're so sad for me. I think they just pitied me. And that's why they came back. But my mother would come for the whole first, let's say, term, because, you know, fall season, and she would fall asleep. And she would be sitting beside me, and she would snore. And it's hard enough, you know, trying to keep strangers awake when it's your own mother. It was just, oh, yeah, it's hilarious. Anyway, thank you all for coming. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ania. And I always tell people the easiest way to remember is, do you have any money, Ania? The answer is no. But that's how people remember my name. But I'm so glad to be here, so glad to see so many of you. We're going to do a different format this year, and hopefully you're aware of that, but I'm just going to repeat it for you. We're going to do one word from the fullness of the Bible, just the whole Bible. We're going to cover one word and kind of try to understand it in depth. And I think that'll be a lot of fun, because one of the things it lets you do is bring a friend who's never gone to Bible study and doesn't ever want to come again, you know, but they can get something out of it, and it's a completed full topic, and it's done, right? At the end of the day, it's just done. And they don't feel like, oh, now I have to go again, you know, and I don't want to, right? All that kind of thing. Or if you have something and you miss something, right, then you don't have to worry that you're out of the loop and you don't know what's going on and you feel embarrassed or whatever. So you can always just, yeah, come and go as you please. It is here as a service for you and as a gift for me, because I like to talk. And so hopefully everyone's got a handout sheet. Where's the extras? Are they still there? Okay, good. We've got some extras there. And we'll have another. So Marie, if you want to pass that to another extra sheet. Okay, so I'm so glad. We're starting today. And we're going to start with, did you set that up? Is that like running? Okay. Yeah, I've got another friend. We'll put that in quotes because he decided to put this YouTube video thing together. Is that what it really is going to be?
We're working on it.
Okay, so he's going to edit this whole beginning section. And we're going to start from the prayer when I look kind of holy. Okay, so get my halo. Okay. At any rate, we're going to see if we can do this. For those of you who don't know that the church, right at the very back, where Lonnie, hey Lonnie. Love that name. She's coming in. That's where the washrooms are. Okay. We have some refreshments at the back of the church today. On the table there. If you need a coffee or whatever, yeah, we've got some schnapps.
That is that one.
Yeah, are we all out? Is that? I'm making that up, you know that. No, so but we have some lemonade and some juice. Yeah, lemonade and coffee and tea, it looks like. So help yourself. And we're going to start. You're okay with that? Yes. Okay, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Come, Holy Spirit, enlighten our hearts to see the things that are of God. Come, Holy Spirit, into our minds, that we may know the things that are of God. Come, Holy Spirit, into our souls, that we belong only to God. Sanctify all that we think, say, and do, that all will be for the glory of God. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Okay, so our word for today is covenant. Okay, the word covenant is a strange word because we use it a lot in church language, but it's not often defined, right? And so people actually have a difficult time knowing what it really means. And I think the simplest definition is what I've given you here. A covenant is the forging of a sacred family bond by swearing a sacred oath. Okay? And so the goal of the covenant is to form a family bond. And the way you achieve a covenant is through the swearing of a sacred oath. And that word, oath, to swear a sacred oath in Latin, is the word sacramentum, which hopefully sounds kind of familiar to you, even if you don't speak Latin, because it's the root of an English word that we use all the time. Sacramentum. There you go. That's right. Good. Sacrament. Okay. So the Old Covenant or Old Testament covenants, Old Testament covenants, are basically kind of like our New Testament sacraments. Okay? It's a prefigurement. It's not a sacrament yet, but they're a prefigurement to the New Testament sacraments that Christ institutes. And that's why it's really important to understand them. And we're not going to get into the sacraments. We'll do that at some other time. We're just going to look at the word covenant for ourselves here. We've got a handout sheet, just so you know. And we're going to go through a series of covenants. Okay? And what I want you to kind of understand is that the word covenant, okay, it entails a whole pile of things. And the first thing that it entails is the fact that you swear a covenant oath, right? You do this. It's the swearing of an oath. You're not just making a promise. Okay? It's kind of like you can give your friend a promise, make a friend a promise. I promise to be there on Friday. Okay? But when you go into court, you swear an oath. You put your hand on the Bible, or now you have a choice, right, I think. And you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You make a solemn oath. Okay? If you break a promise, not much is going to happen to you. But if you break an oath, right, in legal terms, we call that perjury, right? That's a huge, serious offense. And in biblical times, the breaking of an oath was a very, very serious affair. Okay, you do not want to break an oath. You don't want to enter a covenant if you think you could possibly break an oath. Okay, because that was incurring God's judgment against you. Because what happens is when you make a promise, you give someone your word, right? But when you swear a covenant, you are actually going to invoke God's name. Okay, you don't give your word on your own name. You don't sign your name. You invoke God's name. So help me God, right? I promise to tell the truth, so help me God. So you're invoking God's holy name and asking God to be the guarantor of your oath. Okay, that's how serious it is. Something else that you need to be aware of is that a lot of people equate the word covenant with the word contract. And we really cannot do that within the Catholic tradition, within Christian tradition, because it's very, very separate and very, very different. Okay? The way we should think about it is when you form a contract, you are making a promise with someone to exchange goods and services, right, for money or something else, right? Okay, so I promise to give you this if you give me this. Makes sense, right? In a covenant, you're exchanging persons. I become yours and you become mine, right? So it's not an exchange of property or goods or services or things. It's an exchange of persons, which makes it extremely important again. And so there's a covenant formula that's always used. I will be their God, and they will be my people. Right? And you're going to hear that over and over again. I will be their God, and they will be my people. And you notice what happens is that you actually belong to one another. And the reason you belong to one another is because you've taken yourself as a gift and given yourself away to the other person. And that's what the covenant is. And so the basic covenant formula is marriage. Okay? So when you think of a wedding, I always say, you got to imagine two people, right, dressing themselves up, but they're not just dressing up. They're kind of wrapping themselves up as a gift, right? And it almost looks like, you know, the bride has tons of tissue paper, and she's all wrapped up, and she's all pretty, and she's got bows everywhere, and her, you know, fiance has like a little bow tie, I guess just one bow, right? But he's all wrapped up as a little gift too, and he says, I take you to be my wife, so she now belongs to him, and she says, I take you to be my husband, he belongs to her. They don't belong to themselves anymore. They've given themselves away. And you can understand that then, once you've given yourself away, you can't take back that gift and give yourself to someone else, right? You're not supposed to, right? Yeah. Okay, so you give yourself away, and that's what the covenant is all about. You give yourself away. And that's why we can actually speak about God as our Father. Ours, right? He belongs to us. He's given himself to us. It's a tremendous gift. And we give ourselves to him. We are his children. We belong to him. Okay, so through a covenant, you give yourself away. And the distinction between a covenant and a contract is so huge that I think the best way of explaining it, the way I heard from Scott Hahn when he first said it, it really hit me, and I think it's so useful. He says that the difference is like the difference between marriage, which is a covenant, and prostitution, right, which is a contract. Okay, so that's how different it is. So make sure you understand that those terms are separate. Does that make sense? Okay, so there are 6 covenants in the Bible, in the entire Bible. 5 of them are in the Old Testament, and only 1 is in the New Testament. It's cool. Someday we'll look at why, but each of these covenants is very, very important, and I have a feeling that you all know the people that are the covenant mediators. And I've written up this nice little chart that I stole from Scott Hahn. Okay. Very lovely. And you'll see that under Adam, okay, what was his role within the relationship, within the covenant? Yvette, did you get a hand-up sheet? No? Okay. Is there an extra? Oh, steal one from Father George. Oh. Do you have one?
Make more.
You'll make more. Okay, I'd give mine away, but I'm using it. Okay. So anyway, Adam, in his role as the covenant mediator, he is a husband. And what's cool is he's already in a covenant with someone. Who's that? Eve. Okay, he's married. The one thing you need to know about covenants is you never break them just because you form a new one. Okay? And so when let's say I get married. Yeah, no one laugh. No one laugh. Okay, that is not a joke. Let's just pretend. I get married, okay? Whoever my future husband is already in covenant with, I enter into that covenant through him. Isn't that cool? He's in covenant with his parents. I marry him.